Hello and welcome back to National Ag Day. We're here in Sydney at Martin Place. Coming live, we've got a bit of a fun segment about to come up, but I just did want to remind everyone, if you're celebrating Ag Day or just learning about Ag Day for the very first time, be sure to share the love on social media. You can do so by using that hashtag AgDayAU. We would love to see your photos. We've also got that fantastic photo competition running thanks to Syngenta. There's about $5,000 worth of prizes to be won, and to enter that one, you just got to take a photo of something that captures ag innovation to you and upload it to agday.org.au. So definitely get involved with that. But whilst we're talking about technology, I'm joined by the fantastic team from Think Digital. Tim, welcome.
Thank you very much. Very exciting to be here.
So we're lucky enough in Sydney today to have a live virtual and augmented reality experience. Do you want to talk to the people about what that is?
I mean, you're almost combining technology with the passion of agriculture. What we're doing here is we're beaming people into farms right across Australia. So some people have never been to farms, right? So how do we get them to farms? Well, we can either get them out to the real farms or we can beam them in digitally now with VR. So today what we've been doing is immersive reality, I guess. It's educational, and it takes people from the city to the farm to learn how food is produced.
It's a pretty cool experience. We're going to look at it. I'm going to sit and have a go at it in a moment, which is really exciting. But Tim, I want to talk about your story as the founder of Think Digital. How do you come to have such a passion for agriculture, but also for the virtual reality side of things?
Well, I was this high when I was milking cows. So it comes from being in the pit. It comes from milking cows. It comes from being from the land. And the passion for technology comes from going to university and studying it. So now I've brought the two together. But all of this wouldn't be possible if for a moment in time something happened in my life. And it's an interesting little story. So on Facebook, there was a competition and it said, what would you do if you won a bus? And I was sitting there and I was looking at that competition and I said, I'll have a crack at that. And you had to fill it out, 25 words or less, what you would do if you won a bus. I mean, before I tell you my entry, what would you do if you won a bus?
Oh gosh, I'd probably, the typical answer would be to fit it out and travel around the country, I'd say.
Of course, put the spa bar on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Well, we actually said that we'd fit it out as a classroom. We'd travel around Australia, educating people about the digital world. And we travelled out to regional, rural and remote Australia. We ran workshops out on cattle stations. We went to regional centres. We went to city. And we've been travelling around for 7 years now. The bus itself is an immersive reality experience now. So thanks to Woolworths, we actually drive around the country, go into schools, the kids climb on board the bus, they put on a VR headset, and they're beamed this time to a potato farm, actually, to learn about how potatoes are grown. Before that, it was apples. Actually, before that, it was the MLA bus, so Meat Livestock Australia. It was the lamb paddock to plate. So the bus has had many different costumes, but generally speaking, it's designed to educate kids where their food is grown. You know what I love about one of the campaigns we're doing right now? It's all about making healthy food decisions as well. So it's not just about the tech, it's not just about the food. They're putting on the headset, and we're now educating them to make a decision to eat healthy. And this is to fight child obesity. So it goes pretty thin.
It's pretty impactful, really, because I think, like you said, not everyone can get to a farm, but the bus really allows that experience to come to them, and for that learning, that experiential learning, which is so important, to come to the classroom.
And they're not distracted. When they're in VR, they're in VR. And in our case, they're on a farm. So we've got them for 7 minutes. It's all curriculum aligned, so the science teachers love it, the geography teachers love it. So they put them in VR, they take off their headset, they're like, wow, that was incredible. And the other thing we're doing is inspiring them to consider a career in ag as well. So a lot of our immersive experiences are showcasing what ag has to offer for a career pathway as well.
Yeah, that's really exciting to hear. But it's not just school kids that you work with, right? You're working with the whole ag supply chain in sort of this gamification of learning. Do you want to tell us about some of the other work you're doing?
I would, actually. It might help if I show you the technology, because I like to... So this one here is a virtual reality headset, right? So when we put that on, if you just... Were you able to be on my stunt bubble?
Yeah.
So you don't actually have to put this one on just yet, because we're going to give you another one. But if you hold that up to your head and then look around, you can't see the outside world, right?
No.
Okay, so you can take that off now. So as soon as we put on a VR headset, we're in a virtual world. We cannot see the real world, right? Well, the next big leap in technology is this one. Now, I'll get you to put that on. Okay, now, how many fingers am I holding up?
Definitely 3.
Okay, so I'm holding up 3 fingers. Now, you're wearing an augmented reality wearable, which means you can see me,
Yeah.
but you can see the digital world.
Yes.
This particular headset is a Microsoft HoloLens, so it's a pair of glasses. You can flip that up and you can see me. There you go. There you
Hello.
go. You look pretty cool. So anyway, what we're doing with these ones is we're putting a digital flock of sheep in front of a producer. They can see the flock of sheep. They have to identify which one has a potential ailment. Now, in this case, it could be FMD. This is pretty serious, right? So they're training producers to identify exotic diseases in their sheep. Now, once they see the potential one, so they have to pick it out of the flock, they tap on it, and then they go in and have to then identify the mouth, the foot, and the lameness. And what we're doing here is we're getting farmers to be vigilant, the front line, in identifying emergency diseases in their stock. So everything from a little primary school kid learning about how milk is made, right through to a producer protecting Australia for FMD.
It's pretty incredible, just the applications for this kind of technology. It must be going ahead in leaps and bounds.
It is. We love it, and we've been doing it now for 8 years. We've worked with a lot of RDCs, so the Milk, Meat Livestock Australia, the Dairy Australias, with the Woolworths, with AMPC. They're all trying to innovate the way we educate and train people. So this could be the person from overseas who has to come out here and pick some fruit or work in the meat processing, but it could be a young kid who has to learn about, making a healthy food decision. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to put you into some VR. You keen?
Let's do it.
All right, so you have to add a little bit of theatre.
Yes.
Because can we see what you're looking at? Jess? Do you want to bring that one over? We'll take this one off you, the augmented wearable. This is Jess from the studio.
Ready? Chuck him on. Yeah. All right. So I believe I'm standing in a potato crop.
You are indeed. You're actually at the Riverland in South Australia right now, but you're actually in Martin Place.
This is amazing. So I've got 2 farmers in front of me who are talking about their potato crop. We're looking at an incredible crop by the looks. And I am probably, if it was real, it would be up to my hips in potato crop, which is pretty cool.
Keep turning around.
Okay.
There we go. A little bit more, a little bit more. There we go.
And now I'm in the warehouse and also looking at a potato being shown to me.
So I'll jump in here, just as you're watching it. This is a 360-degree video. So I use 6 cameras facing in each direction, and when you're moving your head, you're basically looking out of a different lens. And so that's how it's produced. We film it using 6 cameras, all facing different angles, and then the VR headset allows you to look out one of those cameras. So this is a 360-degree video experience to teach students, or mainly kids, on how to actually, how potatoes are grown. And this is thanks to Woolworths, this one.
This is incredible.
Now, the teachers themselves, they put the kids in VR, but you can also look at this on an iPad and you can also watch it on the web. So we actually produce it so it can be engaged in VR on a mobile or on the web as well.
Oh, wow, this is incredible. So I'm looking at a pivot now, an irrigated pivot.
Now, fun fact for this particular farm, have a guess how many potatoes this particular farm plants in a day. Have a guess.
Oh, goodness. It'd be in the tens of thousands, maybe?
I'm going to ask you to go a little bit higher. It's not 10,000.
Right, let's go 150,000.
Now, you're getting closer, but we're going to go a little bit more.
Goodness. Okay, 300,000.
This is in one day. You think they plant 300,000 potatoes?
That sounds pretty massive to me.
No, you need to go higher.
Goodness. 500,000?
You need to go higher.
1 million?
1 million potatoes
Wow.
a day this particular farm plants. So that's a lot of potatoes. And so this is a huge agricultural property just out of in South Australia in the Riverland.
Yeah.
And their job is to, the ones that you get in Woolies, they're the supplier.
Yeah, wow. And now it's nighttime and we're farming at night, which is incredible to see.
The reason they farm at night time is when they're actually harvesting, they can't have it being too hot when they're pulling in the potatoes, especially for the workers as well. So a lot of this happens to do with temperature. All right, we'll take that headset back off you now, but welcome back to Martin Place.
Thank you very much. It's quite unnerving spinning around and not knowing where your feet are.
Yeah. So now that you've seen it, you understand the, I guess, the power of immersive storytelling. I guess I'll throw it back on you. How do you think that this technology does help agriculture?
Oh, well, look, I think the obvious answer is that you can take a person sitting here in Martin Place and giving them that opportunity to really see what goes on, you know, how dry it is, how large, the scale at which we operate, but also what goes on in the packing sheds and things as well, which most people wouldn't get an opportunity to see.
And a lot of that now has to do with biosecurity. Okay, so university level, when we work with universities, they used to get to go to the packing sheds, but the packing sheds are sort of like, oh, you know, we'd love to have them, but we've got some huge biosecurity risks now and we can't actually do it. So we're using this technology to beam them into the factory. So it gives you access to places that you might not get. The other thing we use it for is advocacy. Now, we know farmers love their animals and love their land, and I think it dispels a lot of myths. We did a piece for the United Emirates, for Korea, China, and Japan. And so over at the food expos, they're learning how Australian lamb is produced. So we're beaming them from overseas over into Australia now too.
It sounds like the applications are pretty endless. I've got to ask you, is there something you're really exciting about emerging that's coming down the pipeline?
Yes. I would say those glasses accessing data. So this is now going to productivity gains. Everything I've shown you now is more educational, marketing, training. But when we start using VR and AR for productivity gains on farm, that's exciting. So think sort of RoboCop or Tom Cruise Minority Report. I'm accessing information.
Yeah.
If you're on a motorbike and you're mustering, you can find your cattle using geopins. Checking out the different IoT devices on, is that gate open? What is that number of cow? What is my soil telling me? And even overlaying NDVI to work out growth figures as well. So you're almost like walking in the data. That excites me a lot.
That certainly is exciting. I have a challenge question for you. Some people look at this and go, this is all just a bit sci-fi for me. Is this real world? Is this something that farmers are going to be using in the future?
At the moment, training is the big sweet spot. All right, so we're doing a lot of VR training. All right, that's where the sweet spot is for this technology now. Is a farmer going to go out and buy a VR headset or an AR wearable? Probably not yet. But is a training organisation that puts a workforce out to pick fruit? Yes. Is AMPC, who's looking to build the workforce to get people into meat processing? Yes. Is schools who are trying to engage kids to teach them about food and how it's grown or career pathways? Yes. So there's a place for this technology. Am I going to be wearing it while I'm fixing a fence to learn how to actually, fix a fence? Maybe one day, but at the moment, I would say that the technology is more people outside of the farm. Eventually, though, when we can buy things like an Apple glasses for Christmas, people are going to say, wow, I want to be able to see my data while I'm farming. And I'll give you one little thing, and we should ponder this for a while. When I'm out on a farm, I like to use my two hands, right? I need to ride a motorbike, I need to fix a fence, I need to muster cattle, whatever I'm doing, I need two hands. I hate holding my phone, right? So think about it. When I have all of the information that I need in my eyes, what does that mean?
Yeah, you have two free hands.
Yeah, so I think when we have wearables that are Christmas presents, I think farmers will then go, I want to drive a tractor wearing my wearables next crop.
Yeah. Well, watch this space. Tim, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if people want to experience it for themselves, whether they're here in Martin Place or also at home, I believe there's an app they can download. Is that right?
There's lots of different apps. The one that probably kickstarts their adventure would be Farm VR. So search that on the web. There's over 120 different farming experiences there. The Discovery Tours app, which is the Woolworths one, is great for little kids. But jump on farmvr.com and escape from the city and check out the country using virtual reality.
Wonderful. Tim, thank you so much. Loved experiencing that. That was great.
We loved immersing you. Happy AgDay.
Happy AgDay.